this robot, which is modeled with MCD. So when I switch on the MCD simulation, you can see that the robot basically is falling down a little and is now standing on the ground. So when I zoom out a little, you can see that I can just pick the robot and pull it around. So that's why MCD has a physics engine. And now I would like to show you how you can operate this robot by using the speed controls. So we have 4 speed controls here built in. As you can see here, the robot does have a motor which is attached to the left front wheel, and we have another motor which is attached to the right rear wheel. Then we have a motor which drives the arm up and down, and we also have a motor which is closing and opening the gripper. So these 4 objects I can click on during simulation of MCD, and this will put these objects over into the so-called runtime inspector. So this runtime inspector allows me to manipulate the MCD objects during runtime. What I'd like to show you now with, for example, a rear motor, which I can just use to enter a speed. So now this would be 100 degrees per second. And of course I can also switch it off again by just entering 0. And the same works of course for the gripper motor. So if I just enter a number here, we can see that the motor is pushing the mechanism against the mechanical limit here. And if I invert the movement, you can see that the gripper is closing, and when it's closed we also have a mechanical limit so that it cannot push any further. And now I would like to show you how I can move the arm up and down. So this movement here, for example, is not limited right now. So I have to switch it off by hand. So if I would want to limit it by a joint limit, I can do so. Just entering again the physics navigator, picking this joint here, which is the arm motor joint. Here I can introduce a limit, so upper limit, lower limit. For example, by putting in 15, of course that's a pretty small limit, but it will show us how the movement will gonna be limited. So when I start the simulation now again, and I switch over to the runtime inspector, enter now a value to the arm motor, then I can see that the movement is gonna be limited after reaching the specific joint limit. So for example, to check this, you can just click on the hinge joint of the arm motor, and looking at that hinge joint within the runtime inspector, and I will see an angle here which is about 345 degrees, so that's exactly the minus 15 degrees limit. And when I would drive now the arm motor again up by 10 degrees per second, I will be able to see that we now have an angle of about 15 degrees. Thank you.